right now is a personal friend of mine and an amateur Muay Thai champion in New England, Shaun Alden Shubert, fighting October 12th for No Boundary, a rematch for their 150-pound amateur title. Shaun, thanks for coming on, buddy. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Big time fight coming up again after going to war back in April, man. You looking forward to this? Is this all that's been on your mind since that last fight in April?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's all that's been on my mind, but it's definitely been, something that kind of stayed with me, and something that I'm very much looking forward to. So, I wouldn't say I'm losing any sleep over it, but now that we're getting pretty close, it's only 3 weeks away. So, now it's definitely in my crosshairs.
Excellent. Well, you're rematching Omar Estevez, who you did fight for that same title back in April for No Boundary Fight. No Boundary Fight, I think 9 it was. Dude, great fight. 2 big rounds there. 2 great competitors. Omar's got over 30 fights. As we said, you're the Lion Fight Amateur, first time ever Lion Fight Amateur champion there. So these are 2 big time amateur Muay Thai fighters going at it. 2 great rounds, man. After the second round, you received a cut during that second round from basically exposed elbows. A big fight like that shouldn't end that way. But what was your take from that fight as far as your work in there and how you felt about your performance up until that point?
I did feel comfortable, and things were kind of going off pretty well. Obviously, getting cut wasn't a part of the game plan, but that's just something you got to deal with. I'm not here to point fingers and boo-hoo and cry baby about anything. I got hit with an elbow that, exposed, unexposed, whatever it was, I got hit with an elbow. So, you take that and you move on with it. If anybody saw the fight, saw the footage, by no way, was it debilitating me or keeping me out of the fight or keeping me from fighting. But we sat down in between the rounds, and the doctors decided that, it wasn't a good thing for me to continue. They're doing their job. I'm trying to do mine. My coach is trying to do his. We personally feel like they didn't give us much of an opportunity to stop the cut or whatever have you, but they're the professionals there to make that call, and they did what they did. So I'm happy enough to get a rematch, because most of the time, you don't get that. So I'm happy enough to be able to go out there and perform and put it back out there, and we'll see what happens.
In them 2 rounds, Shaun, which great 2 rounds right there. Do you feel that you were winning that fight up until that point?
I felt that I was doing well. Again, things happen.
Yeah.
You can play that what if game. You can play whatever. But at the end of the day, the outcome's the outcome, and it is already how it is. So I try not to think about that too much. I do go back with my coaches time to time and watch some things and pick out some stuff, and we've been working on Omar specifically, for the last, few weeks, as anybody would do in any normal camp.
Yeah.
So, I do feel good about what was happening out there. I do feel like that, different circumstances, or that, we got to try and stop the cut and keep performing. Who knows what could have happened? But, I feel good about my performance. I feel that I was trained well, and that I, went out and did what I was supposed to do. However, a fighter interprets what their coaches are trying to tell them to do. There was some miscommunications. There are some things that we patched up from the last fight to this fight, through the camp, and we're just going to bring it all to the table and see what we can make of it.
Excellent. Well, when Omar fought you that first title match, he was coming back after a long layoff. You've had a lot more time, I do believe, to prepare for this fight because I think right after that fight happened, Muhammad in the ring said that we're gonna rematch this fight, and everybody was like kind of waiting for the next No Boundary. We figured this would be the next fight on that card. But you've had a couple of fights, or at least one fight, a smoker or two in between that fight in April and up until now. How you been staying busy, and how many fights have you had since then?
I have been staying extremely busy. I don't know. I think we had two or three fights in between that, but um, just chipping away and just trying to stay active. No, doesn't matter really how many fights I had. It's experience. But Omar's Omar. These other guys aren't Omar, so I'm preparing for these guys, and I'm just trying to stay busy. I'm working on me, and I love fighting. If anybody knows me, they know that I love to fight, and that's the long and the short of it. I always got into this sport, even when I was getting my head kicked in doing MMA and getting slammed on the mat, and before all the Muay Thai stuff, when I wasn't doing so hot. It didn't matter to me. I just love to fight. I love to get in and I love to scrap, and I'll fight with anybody. I don't care what weight it is. You know what I mean? Like, so, I'm just excited that I get to go out and fight again. It's so I just love it. I love the sport. I love mixed martial arts. I love Muay Thai. I love uh, boxing. I did martial arts all growing up my whole life. So I still do submission wrestling. I still do, security training and knife work and all kinds of different aspects of, I love being physical. I love being in the gym. I love to fight. Um, so every time I get an opportunity to do it and, stay safe and, obviously I want to respect the promotions and, I'm not going out and getting beat up and cut up before I go to No Boundary and, perform for
Yeah.
their main event. But, I'm trying to stay busy and trying to, stay with guys that are competitive with me and, that it can give me a good fight and, I can work on what I'm trying to work on in my gym, in my camps and, personally. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, speaking about your gym and your camps, you speak about being a martial artist and you love the fight and basically doing it 24/7 because you own your own camp, your own gym. You're training fighters out of there that you're helping in their own smokers and not only just fighters, all walks of life. People who want to get in shape. How does that factor into your training? Does that help you out that you're training these other fighters so you get to walk yourself through these techniques, kind of look at them from a different perspective, getting ready for a fight in training camp?
Um, yeah, I mean, it gives me the ability to just immerse myself in that whole culture. A lot of people don't get to experience that. They have all these other obligations and other places that they have to go to in their lives, and I'm lucky enough that mine gets to revolve around my gym and kickboxing and fighting and you know giving people the ability to protect themselves and work with the local police officers, whatever it is. um, but I just really get to immerse myself in that lifestyle. It's not like I got to go to the post office and do
get
whatever.
this get
So
disgruntled in there. You know what I mean?
yeah, right.
So you fought a few times in between this fight coming up. Uh, Not as big as No Boundary, and not as traditional in the Muay Thai kind of, because No Boundary is kind of that New England Muay Thai based promotion that is tries to stay toward the more traditional end of the Muay Thai. How do you feel actually getting in there and being able to fight with a lot of other established Muay Thai fighters that are coming in from all over New England and a lot of outside of New England that they bring that talent in, including Omar.
I mean, again, like a fight's a fight for me, and the tough guys everywhere you go, from these small little shows that have it's 50, 60, 70 people at them, to these other, big shows, the mixed shows that are doing MMA and Muay Thai. I've done a couple of those out in New York, and you know, again, like, I just like to have the opportunity to fight, and people ask me, "Oh, you like fighting in the cage better? You like fighting in the ring better?" I don't, I don't, man. It's all the same. It's not the same. It's actually very different. The angles are different. Where you can move to, and how you can press guys, and how you can move back and move your body, and there's a lot of different factors in it. But when you're standing in the middle of the ring or the octagon or whatever it is, like, that guy's standing in the middle there with you, like, you're fighting. It's all the same. It's all the same skill sets that you work on in your camps, and you bring that to wherever it is, whether it's pressed on a fence or pressed in the corner or pressed on the ropes. You can only play that game for so long before, someone's getting broken up or falling over the ropes or getting pressed on the cage too long and the ref's breaking it up, or, whatever it is, unless you're fighting in an MMA rule set where, you're allowed to grapple and take down, like, whether you're getting pressed on the ropes or pressed in the cage, if there's not action, they're breaking it up, and they try to make it, so that the fight keeps going and it stays, true to what it is. But at the end of the day, you boil it down and it's fighting, and I don't care.
Excellent.
I don't care. I like to do it everywhere.
Well, one more question about this fight before I let you give shout outs and stuff like that. Um, this, Omar fighting him again, probably the biggest, the guy that's probably had the most fights that you've ever faced. Is there is there anything you're looking to do in there specific in this fight that you couldn't do in the last fight? I mean, I know you have your own style. It's very aggressive Muay Thai style, very, very flashy and raw, but it's exciting to watch you fight, Shaun, because you're an animal in there. Is there anything different that we're going to see in this fight the second time around that we didn't see in that last fight?
I I think it's going to be more of a mental thing for me. I like I said, I've been playing with martial arts for a long time, and different arts give you different ways of looking at things and different thinkings and different mindsets, and you go into these different events in these different mindsets, and I think that getting myself squared away a little bit better and going in with one of these different mindsets or types of personalities that you go in there with, I think that's the difference that you're going to see in me. But people watching me fight, and I do feel like I have kind of my own little unique style. I don't know what it is, but I definitely think that it's different than what a lot of guys are doing. It's definitely not traditional Muay Thai. It's definitely not authentic. Muay Thai have a lot of different influences, whether it be from a weapons background, or a traditional karate background, or a different type of boxing or whatever that I was into, and just always moved along through some of these different things through my life. It just gives me kind of a different way to play with the same things, the same tools that everyone's using. I just like to look at it through different lenses, I suppose, and I think I'm just going to bring a different type of mindset and a different type of attitude to this fight that you probably might notice a difference, or, subtleties, but maybe not. But my performance will definitely show that I've been training and I've been preparing for, for a fight. And, anybody that has fought me, win, lose, draw, they always know that they're in a fight. So that's all I really care about for the table. You know, is I just want to be in there, and I just want to bang it out with somebody, and you know, I want to give as much as the next guy does. So that's it.
Excellent. Well, Shaun, you're really doing it in there, man. You're a friend of mine. I've seen you in smokers. I've seen you, win titles. I've seen you lose fights. Not many of them, but you always put on an exciting fight. Got a great fan base, and any promotion is happy to have you there because you bring it, and it's just an exciting matchup. No matter who you're facing. Last thing before I let you go, who's the camp's been helping you through here, and who's been helping you ready in this camp to get ready for this rematch?
Well, like you said, I do have a school that I run, so I got a lot of people that are really holding me down. I got a core group of members that are extremely loyal, and they put up with a lot of the, schedule fluctuations and trainings, and, they're very accommodating and very supporting, and, all those guys, much love to those guys. I got trainers, Anthony, Ronnie, Heather, all holding down classes for me when I'm, running off to this training or, schedule switching, or, hey, I can jump in on a sparring. Can you come in and cover my night classes or whatever that thing is, So those guys always have my back, and, I couldn't do any of what I'm doing without those guys, big time. My coaches, Sean Graham and John Espada, my teammates down at Apex and FAF. I get a lot of sparring in with Doomsday, Kinjo, Zach, a lot of these guys, Zev and John, big help, especially in the strength and conditioning area. Sean Graham's been my guy for the last 8 years, and, if you don't know Sean Graham, then you're probably real new to the scene, or, like that guy's been everywhere. He knows everybody, and he knows his stuff, man. Like, that guy's been there for me for forever, so, that's it, man. Like,
well, that's a big core right there. I
got a huge support system, so it's tough to work in and do this and try and make something yourself and make a name for yourself. And so anybody that's out there doing it, it's a huge respect to anybody that's putting in the time training and getting in the ring or the cage and putting it out there. So anybody that can help those guys out and that makes it easy for them to be able to do that, like, we're so grateful for that. So
excellent. Well, Shaun, I thank you for giving me some time. We're 3 weeks away. Still a bunch of time to still get this card out there. And, Muhammad and Frederick are doing great things, adding stuff to this card every day. New matchups showing, they got a bunch of stuff coming up. So they just did a couple things with you at your gym, a little promo. So I'm glad to see that they're getting the Muay Thai out there and more on social media so we can get, Shaun, you're very popular out there. There's other fighters out there that are pretty good that don't get, they don't expose themselves as much or don't have, the backing you do. So No Boundary's doing great things for the Muay Thai community in New England. I'm glad you're a part of it and glad you get this rematch against Omar again, man. So thanks again for coming on. So we have Shaun Alden.
Thanks for having us, dude.
Yeah,
Appreciate
definitely.
it.
Anytime. Shaun Alden Shubert fighting No Boundary 10. Night of Champions, where he's going to try to be another champion for No Boundary on October 12th. Melrose Memorial Hall. Beautiful place to see a fight. Hook up with Shaun. He's got tickets. They all got tickets. And this fight will be probably fight of the night. So make sure you come check it out. We out.
It was definitely exciting.